Revealed. When a billionaire girl's car broke down, an inspiring classmate transformed her life. Mia sat in her brand new luxury car, its leather seats radiating an air of elegance that felt hollow. The glistening dashboard seemed to mock her as the traffic lights turned from green to red. She was heading to yet another charity event her parents insisted she attend, a flashy affair that promised networking with the elite. But in her heart, a void echoed with loneliness, magnified by the spectacle that surrounded her. All the wealth in the world couldn't fill the emptiness inside. As she drove through her affluent neighborhood, something snapped. Her car sputtered, then came to an abrupt stop, leaving her stranded on a street that shifted from shiny sidewalks to worn-out asphalt. "Great, just great," she muttered under her breath, the frustration bubbling up like a boiling pot. This wasn't just an inconvenient breakdown. It felt like fate's cruel joke. In a world filled with privilege, she was now parked at the edge of a reality she had never dared to confront. Just as despair began to creep in, a familiar face appeared. Jake, her classmate from high school. He approached with a warm smile, a stark contrast to the static glamour Mia was used to. Clad in worn jeans and a humble hoodie, Jake was defining what hard work looked like. "Need a hand?" he asked, pulling a tool set from his backpack, his eyes sparkling with kindness and determination. As he tinkered with her car, their conversations began to flow, touching on dreams, struggles, and life lessons. Mia listened, captivated. Jake spoke of his family, the sacrifices they made, and the resilience that coursed through his veins. He had spent years juggling 2 jobs to support them, living a life Mia had only seen through the lens of privilege. With each word, she felt a connection grow, something deep and meaningful. It was as if he was breathing life into her heart, awakening a longing for authenticity that had been dormant far too long. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. Days turned into weeks, and Mia felt herself drawn to Jake more than ever. He opened her eyes to the world beyond her gated community. But at school, whispers began to circulate. Her affluent friends weren't shy about their disapproval. They couldn't comprehend why she would lower herself to mingle with someone like Jake. The weight of their judgment was heavy, and every glance felt like a brand. And then tragedy struck. Jake's family faced a financial crisis, an unexpected threat to their already fragile stability. Mia watched helplessly as he struggled, her heart aching. Her family's ominous warnings echoed in her ears, demanding she sever ties for the sake of their reputation. Torn between 2 worlds, she felt a sudden rush of rebellion bubbling within her. Was she ready for a stand? To defy the status quo? Mia found herself at a crossroads, her heart pounding louder than ever as she faced a choice that could change everything. Would she stay true to Jake and the values he embodied? Or would she buckle under the crimson weight of her privilege? The night was dark, but hope flickered in her chest, urging her to make the right decision. Little did she know, the storm of emotions brewing around her was just beginning. Mia's heart raced as she stared at the glow of her phone. Messages from her friends lit up the screen, filled with gossip and warnings. "You've changed," one of them said, with a seething tone that felt like an accusation. Another text read, "What are you doing with him?" Her fingers hovered over the keyboard, but the words wouldn't come. She could feel the walls close in from both sides, her parents' expectations and Jake's world. The next day, as she walked into school, whispers followed her like shadows. Every glance weighed heavier. Mia braced herself, steeling her resolve. Jake found her in the courtyard, looking worn but hopeful, a stark contrast to her wealthy peers. "Hey, you okay?" he asked, his voice comforting. She nodded, but the knot in her stomach twisted tighter. "Can we talk?" she blurted out, almost surprising herself. He agreed, and they settled on a bench tucked away from prying eyes. "I've seen you struggle with this," he said, his tone gentle. "And I get it. Sometimes it feels easier to go along with what everyone expects." A lump formed in Mia's throat. But what if I don't want to? What if I don't fit in there anymore? Jake's expression softened. Then don't. Life's too precious to pretend. You have to choose what makes you happy. Mia's eyes sparkled with unshed tears. For the first time in a long while, someone truly understood. But my family, she trailed off, the fear of disappointing them pressing down like a weight. Your happiness matters too, he replied firmly, making her heart pulse faster. She felt a flicker of courage ignite. It was a choice: either remain a prisoner of privilege, or embrace a life overflowing with meaning. Just then the bell rang, shattering her moment of clarity. Reality rushed back in, but for Mia, the armor of her old life began to crack. During lunch, she walked into the cafeteria, the buzz of chatter buzzing against her ears. Her so-called friends were huddled in a corner, casting glances her way. Drawing in a deep breath, she made her way toward their table. When their heads lifted and silence fell, Mia felt the weight of 1,000 expectations. I've decided. Just then, a loud crash echoed through the cafeteria. Someone had knocked over a tray, drawing everyone's attention, including hers. Amid the chaos, she spotted a small group of students laughing, clearly unfazed by the tension. Mia's courage faltered for a second, but she pressed on, her heart racing. I'm choosing to live my life for me, not for any of you. Stunned silence filled the air as Mia turned away, her decision solidifying in her heart. She caught a glimpse of Jake watching from a distance. His eyes sparkled with pride, and suddenly the fear that had gripped her loosened its hold. With every step she took toward Jake, she felt the whispers of her past fade into the background. She couldn't predict what tomorrow would bring or how her family would react, but she was ready to face whatever storm lay ahead. And just as they connected, a group of students approached, their expressions fierce, the kind that could ignite a blaze from a mere spark. What are you doing with him? One asked, their voice dripping with disdain. Mia looked at Jake and felt a surge of determination. This would be her moment, but how would she stand against the heavy tide of their judgment? The flicker of hope she felt burned brighter, even as the winds began to swirl. She could finally see the shores of her new reality, but would she make it there unscathed? Mia felt the heat rise in her cheeks as she faced the group. It was a mixture of fear and adrenaline coursing through her veins. I'm with Jake. Not that it's any of your business, she shot back, her voice steadier than she felt. Jake stepped closer, a protective presence beside her. His gaze fixed on the group, challenging anyone to say another word. Some looked just as shocked at her words as Mia felt inside. She had never defied them like this before. Oh, come on, a girl named Sarah sneered, flipping her hair. Are you seriously going to throw everything away for him? What does he even have to offer? Mia felt the sting of their contempt but didn't let it unnerve her. He has a life, a real one. Something you wouldn't understand, she countered, surprising herself even more. I don't need your approval. I've spent too long living up to your expectations. A heavy silence hung in the air, charged like an electrical storm. Other students were watching, some wide-eyed, others smirking. Mia could sense the moment shift. There was a crack in their facade of superiority. Jake squeezed her hand, and the warmth shot through her. You can't judge someone by where they come from. It's who they are that matters, he said, his voice calm but firm. Mia is brave for choosing her own path. The group hesitated, glances exchanged, uncertainty creeping in. But Mia knew they would press on. Look at you two, Sarah laughed harshly, a perfect little fairy tale, huh? Mia straightened. You don't understand. This isn't a fairy tale. It's real life, something I want to live authentically. She took a deep breath, trying to steady her racing heart. And if that means being with someone who makes me happy, then so be it. Jake nodded, pride clear in his eyes. We all deserve the chance to be who we are, he added, his voice rising slightly as if inviting the onlookers to peer into the truth. For a moment Mia felt invincible. But then the group shifted again, their frowns tightening into enraged expressions. Just wait until the weekend party. Another voice chimed in. Everyone will know you've gone against the grain. You'll regret this. Mia's heart sank at the realization that this wouldn't end here. Still, the heat of determination fueled her. Maybe a little judgment from you all is exactly what I need to be sure of my choice, she said defiantly. The air was thick with tension as the group reluctantly turned and walked away, their chatter fading. Mia felt the weight lift just a little. Are you sure you're okay? Jake asked softly as they walked away from the cafeteria. moving toward a quieter area where they could breathe. I'm still figuring it out, she admitted, a twinge of vulnerability creeping back in. But I know I'm ready to be me. Then let us figure it out together, Jake replied, his voice reassuring. As they sat on a nearby bench, Mia felt her resolve strengthen. Already, she could feel the pulse of a new reality starting to form around her. The fear was still there, lurking just like the whispers in the hallways. But beneath it all was a growing courage, a new sense of self. But just then her phone buzzed in her pocket. Mia pulled it out, her heart dropping as she read the new message. You're in for it now. What did this mean? Would the reaction from her family be as harsh as she feared? As the words settled in her mind, a new wave of anxiety washed over her. What was she really stepping into? Mia stared at her phone, her breath hitching as a knot of anxiety twisted in her stomach. The words swam before her eyes, each one a heavy reminder of the consequences that awaited her. She had always wrapped herself in a cocoon of safety, but now it felt like she had ripped a hole that exposed her to the elements. Jake noticed her stiffened posture. What's wrong? His voice was steady but laced with concern. She hesitated, her fingers trembling slightly as she turned the screen toward him. It's a message from them. Jake read the words inside, his brow furrowing. What do they want? Mia shook her head, fighting to keep her voice level. I don't know, but I can't shake this feeling that it's just the beginning. They're not going to let this go. Jake leaned closer, his presence grounding her. You can handle this. You're stronger than you think. Those words hung in the air between them, a lifeline amidst the chaos swirling in her mind. Still, doubts clawed at her. What if they dragged her family into this? What if the whispers in the hallway turned into something much worse? As they sat there, the sun dipped lower in the sky, casting golden hues that danced around them. Mia wanted to believe in the warmth, to let it wash away her fears, but a cold shiver sparked at the back of her mind. Do you think I've made a huge mistake? She asked quietly, her eyes fixed on a cluster of birds flying overhead, their freedom contrasting her inner turmoil. No, Jake replied firmly. You've made a choice. A brave one. There was a moment of serenity, the world feeling like it paused just for them. But the spell broke when Mia's phone buzzed again. This time a series of notifications flashing on the screen. More? She murmured, dread rolling over her. Open it, Jake urged, determination flickering in his gaze. With a shaky breath, Mia opened the messages and read through them. They were screenshots, captured conversations between students. Look at Mia trying to be someone she's not, one said. Another chimed in, she thinks she can change his life, but she's just playing dress up in a world she doesn't belong to. Tears pricked at Mia's eyes, but she swallowed hard. This isn't about me being better or worse than anyone, she said, voice thick with emotion. It's about wanting something real. Jake took her hand again, his grip reinforcing her strength. And you deserve it. You deserve to be you no matter what they say. Mia admired the conviction glimmering in his eyes. But her heart still raced, and fury bubbled beneath her skin. I don't want to be scared anymore. She cried out, surprising even herself with the intensity of her words. Jake squeezed her hand tighter. Then don't be. We'll confront them. Together. Just as hope flickered to life, Mia's phone buzzed once more. The name at the top stopping her heart. It was her mother. Taking a deep breath, she opened the message. We need to talk. You and me. Now. All at once anxiety crashed back, wrapping around her like a shroud. What would her mom think of her choice? Would she even understand? The weight of the conversation ahead felt unbearable. Are you okay? Jake's voice broke through her dazed thoughts. I'm not sure, she admitted, the tremor in her voice betraying her. But as she looked into his eyes, something within her sparked. Will you come with me? She asked, the question lingering in the air. Always, Jake whispered, determination in his tone. Together they stood up, ready to face whatever came next. And just as they took a few steps forward, Mia felt a mix of fear and excitement surge through her. Because this was the moment where everything would change. What would her mother say? Would she support Mia or drive her deeper into despair? As they headed toward the car, Mia felt the air crackle with uncertainty. Would she finally find out where she truly belonged? Mia slid into the passenger seat, her heart thumping loud enough to drown out the sound of Jake buckling his belt beside her. Outside, the world still spun on in its busy rhythm, but in here time felt suspended. She took a deep breath, the smell of leather and faint traces of Jake's cologne momentarily calming her racing mind. "Are you ready?" Jake's voice was soft yet firm. Mia nodded, though doubt rippled through her. "I guess I have to be," she said, forcing a small smile. The sound of Jake's engine starting hummed a comforting note that seemed to align with her own heartbeat. As they navigated the streets, shadows lengthened, casting a gentle gloom over the surroundings. The weight of what awaited her made every turn seem heavier. "What if she doesn't understand?" Mia blurted suddenly, her voice thin against the enveloping silence. "She will," Jake reassured her, glancing over with an intensity that warmed her chest. "She loves you, you know? Just give her a chance to hear you out." But as they pulled into the driveway, Mia doubted that warmth would be enough. Her mother's car was parked outside, a fortress of familiarity that felt suddenly alien. For a moment, Mia's thudding heart stopped. The sight of it igniting memories she had buried, the expectations, the pressure to fit into a mold. What would it be this time? A storm of criticism or an understanding embrace? "Let us do this," Jake said, squeezing her hand briefly before letting go. His encouragement turned her nerves into a strange kind of determination. Mia stepped out, the chill of the evening air wrapping around her. Every step toward the front door felt like a march into battle. She inhaled sharply, stopping at the threshold to steel herself. All her fears hovered on the cusp of defeat as she raised her hand and knocked. The sound echoed, almost mockingly, and her breath quickened. Her mother opened the door, concern washing over her features. "Mia." There was a flicker of something else, a deeper emotion lurking just beneath the surface. "Mama," Mia said softly, stepping inside. The warmth of the living room contrasted sharply with her icy nerves. "Is everything all right?" Her mother's eyes darted to Jake, then back to her, searching for a clue. The room felt charged with expectation. Mia swallowed hard. "I got your message." The words felt heavy, like stones lodged in her throat. "Yes, we need to talk." Her mother's voice was steady, but there was an urgency in her gaze that made Mia's stomach twist. Before Mia could gather her thoughts, Jake moved slightly closer, a gesture of support, an anchor against the waves of uncertainty. "Mom," she stumbled over the words, choking on the idea of revealing her truth. "I need to tell you something important about Jake and me." "Mia, is he?" her mother started, but Mia cut her off, the urgency of the moment spilling over. "No, it's not like that." Her hands trembled and she fought to steady them. "I want to be real. I'm tired of pretending. I'm tired of all the pressures." Her mother blinked, processing, and the silence stretched like a taut string. Doubt surged in Mia like a storm threatening to break. "Please just let me explain," she pressed on, heart racing. "I'm choosing to be honest about who I am." A flicker of surprise glanced across her mother's face, shifting the air in the room. Just then Mia's phone buzzed again, enough to jolt her. A notification from the same group that had tormented her came through. One word captured her gaze: loser. Her heart sank. Would her mother see her as the same? Or something different? The tension thickened, both her mother's and Jake's eyes glued to her as she read on. Yet, in this moment something shifted in her core. Strength surged and she realized a truth: she was no longer that scared girl who sought validation. This was about reclaiming her voice. But could she trust her mother to hear it, to understand? And as the seconds ticked by, the unyielding question hung in the air. What if this became the moment that changed everything? Or would it spell disaster? What would happen next? Mia's heart raced, each beat echoing the uncertainty that filled the room. She felt her mother's eyes on her, curious, worried, searching. The weight of years spent tiptoeing around topics that now banged at the doors of her truth made the air feel dense. "Mom," she began again, her voice wavering, but the words sat heavy on her tongue. Mia felt the pulse of every fearful thought, every past moment of judgment, threatening to drown her. I'm not who you think I am. Not anymore." Her mother's brow furrowed, the slight twitch in her jaw revealing an army of emotions. "What do you mean?" "I mean, I'm not just your daughter who wants to make you proud. I'm figuring out who I really am, and it's different from what you envisioned." Mia's breath came in fast sprints. She gripped the edge of the coffee table for support, grounding herself in this fragile moment. "Is it Jake? Is he the reason for this?" Her mother's voice was heavy with concern. a thread of fear woven into the fabric of her words. No, it's not about Jake, it's about me. I like him, yes. She glanced at Jake, whose reassuring presence felt like a lifebuoy strapped around her heart. But that's not all. I've been struggling with feeling like I have to fit into a certain mold. I don't want to pretend anymore. The silence that followed her outburst felt like a frozen wasteland. Mia dared to glance at Jake, his eyes wide, reflecting both encouragement and worry. She turned back to her mother, searching for signs of understanding, or at least the beginnings of acceptance. I need you to see me, Mia pressed. Not the daughter you thought you had, but the person I'm becoming. I'm tired of feeling suffocated. Her mother remained still, her gaze drifting to the floor. The shifting of weights, a battle of acceptance versus expectation, had begun. Mia held her breath as the silence stretched between them, fabled like unwritten pages of a book. What would her mother say? Finally, a deep breath escaped her mother's lips, a sigh laced with years of worry and love. Mia, I just want you to be happy, but I can't help but feel scared. Scared? Of what? Mia asked, confusion clouding her thoughts. Of losing you. Her mother's voice broke, a fissure of raw emotion creeping through. Of you changing so much that I don't recognize you anymore. Mia's heart softened at the admission. If anything, she craved the connection, a bridge rather than a chasm. But, Mom, if you really want to know me, you need to let me be me even if you don't understand right now. It was Mia's turn to be vulnerable. She stepped forward, her voice a whisper. And can't we start with trust? Trust that I'm still your daughter at heart. The tension in her mother's posture began to unravel, a flicker of hope igniting the room. I want to understand, Mia. I do, but it's hard. Then let us take it slow, Mia offered. I'll show you who I am, who I want to be. Please just don't shut me out. Okay, her mother finally said, words trembling, but strong enough to reach across the expanse. Mia's phone buzzed again, jolting her from the moment. The notification from that cruel group flashed on the screen, followed by laughter and taunts. Hey loser, the words poked at her resilience. But this time the sting felt different. She wasn't that scared girl anymore. And she was done letting those words define her. I'm not a loser, she whispered under her breath, conviction hardening her resolve. Jake placed a hand on her back, an unspoken promise of support. But as Mia absorbed her mother's sympathetic glance, she knew this was only the beginning. Was her mother ready to embrace this journey with her? Could they navigate this transformation together? Or would new battles still lie ahead? With a mixture of hope and trepidation, she felt the weight of the moment pressing against her. Would opening this door lead to acceptance or a new rupture? The air tingled with possibilities, and as the conversation hung in a delicate balance, one question loomed. Was this truly the start of a transformation, or just another beginning of a struggle? What lay just beyond the horizon? Mia could feel the weight of the room shift, the air charged with unspoken words. It was as if time had paused, giving everyone a moment to catch their breath. She glanced at Jake, who remained steady beside her, his hand offering silent strength. But her gaze drifted back to her mother, who was visibly wrestling with emotions. Mom, I'm still your daughter, Mia reminded her softly. This doesn't mean I love you any less. Just the person I need to be is different now. Her mother looked up, eyes sparkling with the threat of tears. I just want you to find your way without losing who you are. I've always pictured you, following the path we talked about. Mia bit her lip. The image her mother had painted, full of color and expectation, now felt like a cage. And what if who I become doesn't fit in that picture? What if I want to color outside the lines? There was a beat of silence, heavy with uncertain futures and fragile hopes. What do you want, Mia? This was the question she had been fearing but also yearning for. Gripping the coffee table tighter, Mia spoke from her heart. I want to explore. To take risks, to make mistakes and learn from them without feeling like I'm disappointing you. I want to be proud of who I am, not just who you once wanted me to be. I want to be free. Her mother's expression softened, yet Mia could see the worry still tangled in her features. But what if you stumble? What if this journey leads to pain? Mia took a deep breath, bringing the moment to its crux. I would rather stumble while being myself than walk a straight line pretending to be someone else. I need you to trust me, to believe that I will find my way. I really do want your guidance, it just can't be through your expectations. The little flicker of understanding in her mother's eyes gave Mia hope. But it wasn't enough to banish the tension. Okay, her mother whispered, tears glimmering like stones in a stream. If that's what you truly want, I'll try. I want to support you, I really do. But it's going to take time. Time is all I need, Mia assured her. But just as they shared this fragile moment, her phone buzzed again, this time more insistent. As if space couldn't handle the emotional upheaval. She hesitated before checking, but curiosity clawed at her. What she saw turned her stomach. The notifications brought laughter, mocking jokes, and brainless memes that stung like sharp barbs. The cruel group had struck again. Hey loser, they taunted in digital ink. The weight of their words pressed down on her. But this time it didn't crush her spirit. It ignited a fire instead. I'm not a loser, Mia said, firmer this time, looking back at her mother and Jake as if daring the shadows from her past to come closer. You're right. You're not, Jake said, his voice deep and unwavering. Her mother blinked back tears, and for a moment, they were all together in the same understanding, the same humanity. But Mia knew they were only on the edge of a much bigger storm. The journey of acceptance, both for herself and from her mother, was just beginning. Let us face whatever's coming together, Jake suggested, his tone light yet earnest. As they shared a small but powerful nod, Mia felt a swell of courage building within her. Okay. Together. In that moment hope flickered more brightly than fear. But a question still bubbled in her mind: how would they navigate the choppy waters ahead? With the laughter of her peers ringing in her ears and the warmth from her mom and Jake's presence grounding her, she sensed that their bond might soon be tested again. Would they hold strong? Or would the next challenge swallow the progress they had made? The air was thick with possibility, and as they stood on the brink of change, Mia couldn't shake the thought of what lay ahead. What battles awaited? Would they stand united or fall apart in the face of harsh realities? Mia took a deep breath, the air heavy with unceremonious tension, a lingering reminder that words spoken couldn't be unsaid. She could still feel the sting of those cruel messages, their echoes taunting her. It was like standing at the edge of a vast stormy ocean, waves crashing and swirling around her. Yet, beside her were Jake and her mother, anchors amidst the chaos. Are you okay? Jake asked, his brow furrowed with genuine concern. Mia forced a smile, feeling the warmth of his gaze wrap around her like a blanket. Yeah, I need to think. Her mother reached out and took Mia's hand, a small gesture that spoke volumes. You know I love you, right? No matter what. Mia nodded, her heart swelling. Yet the shadow of doubt lingered. I know, Mom. But it's just, the world is so different now. I don't want to be the person you think I should be. I don't want to hold you back, her mother replied, voice shaky. But change is scary. So is staying the same, Mia countered. She looked out the window, the clouds sweeping across the sky like the storm brewing inside her. This whole thing with the group has to stop. I can't keep fighting my own battles and battling your expectations. I just want to be me. Jake squeezed her hand tighter. You're brave, Mia. Many wouldn't have the guts to stand up like this. You've got the fire. Fire can burn, Mia said, her voice barely whispering. What if I get burned? Then we'll patch you up, her mother said gently. Together. Mia caught her mother's eye, momentarily lost in the depth of her understanding. Maybe we can help each other. I'm learning how to be me. Maybe you can learn to let go. An unsteady smile played on her mother's lips. I'd like that. It's just going to take practice. As they talked, relief flooded Mia's heart. But the battle was far from over. Even in their circle of support, the outside world remained unyielding. The notifications on her phone vibrated once more, ominous and persistent. Do you want to look at them? Jake asked gently, his voice an anchor amidst her swirling feelings. Mia hesitated, her finger hovering over the screen. What if they hurt all of us? Then we face it together, he replied, unwavering. In that moment something shifted within her. Mia took a deep breath and tapped on the notifications. The venomous words leapt out, each one sharp and unrelenting. No one cares about your identity crisis, Mia. She could feel anger rising in her chest. It would be so easy to let their words sink her. So easy to retreat against this digital tide of hatred. But this time Mia had her foundation. You're wrong, she typed out, heart racing as she hit send. I care. And I want to stop being who I am. Not for you or anyone. The response was almost immediate. Keep pretending, loser. Mia's heart raced, but instead of crumbling, she felt strength bubbling up within her. Pretending is what you do, she replied, feeling the weight of every keystroke. I'm finally being real. Her heart pounded as she hit send, feeling more liberated by the second. It was terrifying but also exhilarating. She wasn't alone. There are people who care about you, Jake said softly, his eyes locking onto hers. You have the power to change the narrative. Mia nodded, a slow smile spreading across her face. You're right. Together we can change everything. As she looked at Jake and her mom, she sensed the possibility in the air. They were no longer just bracing for the storm. They were ready to dance in the rain. But as Mia's heart swelled with newfound determination, a new notification appeared on her phone, one that seemed different. It sent chills down her spine. We know who you really are, Mia. And we're just getting started. With a mixture of fear and fierce resolve, Mia glanced between Jake and her mother, uncertainty knotting in her gut. What lay ahead could either tear them apart or bind them closer together. Would they be ready to face whatever was coming next? Mia's breath hitched in her throat as she reread the chilling message. Each word felt like a weight dragging her under. What does that even mean? She whispered, more to herself than anyone else. Jake leaned closer, his protective instinct kicking in. Ignore it. They're trying to scare you. Her mother squeezed her hand. You're stronger than them, Mia. Remember that. But strength felt elusive at that moment. Fear loomed like a dark cloud. She couldn't shake the feeling that this wasn't just an idle threat. Whoever sent that message wasn't done yet. Maybe I should just respond, Mia murmured, her fingers trembling over the keyboard. The thought of inviting an even bigger storm made her stomach churn. Could they truly fight against whoever was orchestrating this? Maybe we should go public, Jake suggested, his voice low but firm. Expose their bullying. You have supporters. Everyone in school knows what's been happening. Mia glanced between Jake and her mother, uncertainty dancing in her chest. Being public could mean more trolls, more hurtful comments. What if it backfired? What if it just makes things worse? Her mother shook her head. You're not alone, Mia. You have people who care and want to help you. What if I don't know how to handle it? Mia's voice wavered. The thought of being so exposed was terrifying. Jake lifted her chin gently, ensuring their eyes met. No one knows how to handle this. That's why it's important to fight back. This darkness doesn't get to win. Not if we stand together. Mia felt a spark of hope, mingled with her lingering fear. What if I'm not strong enough? You already proved you are, Jake said, passion shining in his eyes. Standing up like you did today? That took real guts. She wanted to believe him. She wanted to feel that fire inside her again. But every notification felt like a reminder of the chaos outside their small bubble of safety. What if this fire only burned her again? Mia's phone buzzed again, pulling her back into reality. This time it was an unknown number. Hesitantly, she opened it. We're watching, Mia. Don't think you can hide. The truth will come out. Her heart sank. The truth. But what truth were they referring to? What dark secrets did they think she held? Panic bubbled up, threatening to sweep her away. Maybe it's time to show them we're not afraid, Jake said, his voice steady. Your story matters. There are so many people who would support you who already do. She could feel the tremor in her hands, but deep down a resolve began to form. The whispers, the threats, the hurtful words, they only had power if she let them. Okay, she said finally, determination edging out the fear in her voice. Let us go public. I'm ready. Her mother's eyes welled with pride. You're so brave, Mia. I'm here every step of the way. Jake grinned, relief flooding his features. Then let us do it. Let us fight back together. As they prepared to document everything, every bullying message, and every painful moment, Mia felt a sense of purpose surging within her. She was no longer just a target, she was a voice. But as they began, a new thought crept into Mia's mind. Would the truth they uncovered do more harm than good? What if it brought more darkness than light? Just then her phone vibrated once again. This time it was an impending sense of dread that paralyzed her. The screen read, You won't escape us, Mia. We have what you fear the most. Mia's breath caught, heart racing anew. They were getting closer. What was this mystery that now threatened her? The stakes were rising, and she couldn't shake the feeling that the real battle was just beginning. Mia stood at the edge of her emotional abyss, heart pounding in her chest like a drum. Each notification on her phone felt like a gunshot, a reminder of the unseen threats closing in around her. But with Jake and her mother beside her, she felt something shift, a palpable strength gathering within. "Let us document everything," Mia said, her voice steely. "We need to take this public. It's time to show them they can't scare me into silence." Jake nodded, respect shining in his eyes. "You're taking control. That's huge, Mia." Her mother squeezed her hand tighter, the bond between them solidifying. "I believe in you, sweetheart. This could be the first step toward more than just standing up for yourself. You're giving a voice to others too." Taking a deep breath, Mia grabbed her phone, fingers poised over the screen. She felt the weight of 1,000 eyes watching her, the whispers of her classmates echoing in her mind, but she couldn't let that fear win. "I need to say something." With a determined flick of her wrist, she recorded a video. "Hey everyone," she began, her voice unwavering. "This is Mia. I'm here to share my story about what bullying looks like." As she spoke, something incredible happened. With each word, she felt her fear dissipate into the air, replaced by a fierce clarity. "I've been hurt by the things people have said. I'm done letting that fear define me. We can't let our voices be silenced. If you're struggling to, know you're not alone." Jake watched her with admiration, the fire in her eyes igniting a warmth in his chest. Her mother stood tall, her pride illuminating the space around them. Mia's conviction blossomed, moments passing like kaleidoscopes of hope. "Join me. Share your truth," Mia said, her voice rising as she embraced the power of solidarity. "This isn't just about me. It's about all of us who deserve to be heard. No more hiding." The finality of her words rang clear as she hit post, the digital curtain rising on their collective struggle. As the video uploaded, a soft buzz vibrated from her phone. Notifications streamed in, some supportive but others were still tinged with the judgment she feared. Yet the support flooded in quick. "You're so brave, I'm proud of you. And we stand with you," Mia filled the screen like a shield. "Mia, look," Jake exclaimed, his eyes gleaming with encouragement. "People are rallying behind you. You're not alone." Mia felt the warmth wash over her, the start of a much larger wave of change. But deep down, the chilling message loomed, the one lingering threat that shifted like treacherous shadows. "We have what you fear the most." "Who are they?" she whispered, anxiety clawing at her. Jake sensed her turmoil and stepped closer, a protective presence that anchored her. "They're just scared," he replied, confidence shining in his tone. "People lash out when they're fearful of what's different. We'll face whatever it is together." But as she watched the support flood in, Mia's fears began to fade into the background. She took a moment to absorb the love and empathy surrounding her, a community forming in real time, each brick a testament to strength and courage shared. The next morning, news of her video spread across the school like wildfire. In the hallways, whispers transformed into cheers of solidarity. Encouraging notes appeared in her locker. "Isn't it amazing how one voice could spark a movement?" Yet, amongst the encouragement, the trolls persisted. "Still a loser," texted one of her so-called friends. But with each taunt, Mia felt fortified. Like each jab helped to chip away at her old self, the one too caught up in expectations. Jake walked alongside her, a steadfast friend amidst the chatter. "You have your own life now. Don't let their negativity erase that." "You're right," Mia nodded. "I can still feel scared, but it shouldn't control me anymore." And just like that, clarity enveloped her like sunlight breaking through clouds. She had carved a path for authenticity one step at a time. As days turned into weeks, Mia's story transcended the walls of her school. It blossomed into a local movement. People gathered to pledge their support, sharing experiences of their own struggles, drawing every ounce of courage from Mia's bravery. One evening, as Mia walked through the crowd at a rally dedicated to acceptance, she spotted her mom. Her heart fluttered as they made eye contact, emotions flaring. Her mother's eyes mirrored pride and understanding, no longer clouded by fear. They embraced, warmth filling the space where tension once resided. "It's amazing, isn't it?" Mia whispered, overwhelmed by the shared strength surrounding her. Her mother nodded, tears shimmering in her eyes. "You led the way, sweetheart. You've shown all of us what brave looks like." Mia beamed, Remembering the journey, Jake slipped his hand in hers, and for the first time, she could see the endless horizon of possibilities stretching ahead of her, a life defined not by others' expectations, but by her own embrace of who she truly was. "Let's face every challenge together," she said, her voice firm and bright. In that moment, surrounded by community, family, and newfound strength, Mia realized the truth: her journey was just beginning. Would she keep their voices alive? Would her story continue to inspire others? The answer felt clear. Yes, and with every heartbeat, she was ready to turn the tide. As they stood together, united, Mia felt a deep sense of freedom wash over her, a recognition of a life well lived, not just for herself, but for a brighter future for all. And in that collective moment of realization, a promise echoed in her heart: she would always rise. If you're feeling inspired by Mia's story, now is the time to take action. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep this movement growing. Comment your reactions and feelings about the inspiring ending. Your voice matters. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation in their lives. You need to support the channel. This is the moment to show your love. Don't wait not even one more second to share.